Let's get this shit show on the road. All right. Let's go. How we doing? Guys, we're trying stuff a little differently today. Today will be a little bit shorter of a show, but we are also going to be... what was that? The hell is that? That is weird. Testing out OBS a little bit here. Interesting. Cool. Interesting. I like that. All right, cool. We're just kind of testing out OBS to see what the delay is here. We're going to be reading some articles here. So it's kind of a slow news day. Let me just check on my test screen here. Okay, we're a little bit behind, but it doesn't seem to be lagged out too much as far as the video quality. Sorry, this is not going to be the best episode for you guys. So if you're new here, I appreciate it. Just hang with me here. If you're a returning viewer, you obviously kind of already know what to expect. Trying out some poll stuff here. Going to be reading some articles here. All right. Hey, guys. Sorry about all of that. Welcome into the Hat and Beard Show. So far, everything looks good on the YouTube studio side of things. So we're going to go ahead and just go to the normal doodads here. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Hey, guys. Welcome into the Hat and Beard Show. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Hat and Beard, where we cover NFL content news and then focus on our hometown favorite team here, the Detroit Lions. Today is Monday, March 24th. Here in mid-Michigan, it is gray, it is gloomy, and it is a little bit snowy out. I don't necessarily appreciate the turn in the weather, but as you guys know, spring is upon us, and sooner rather than later, we will be complaining about the heat. I'm looking very much forward to the warm weather. Working out in the yard a little bit. Got some work done late last week. We were able to get some lawn sweepage done, but unfortunately, I destroyed my pinion gear, so I need to replace that on the old John Deere so I can finish up working in the yard as the weather turns better to the warm weather. It's spring, which means let's go America. Detroit, Mr. Detroit City, my guy. Good morning to you, friend. Hopefully you had a good weekend, dude. Hopefully it was a good weekend and you got a great start to your Monday morning. My guy, it is an awesome day to be an American, dude. It is a good day. Any day in America is pretty much a good day. You're not gonna buffalo me with any of that. I'm a patriot through and through. So today, guys, try and fill out some time here with the slow news. You guys know it's slow news. We are just wrapped up week 2 of free agency during the NFL offseason, and week 3 is going to be even more dull. We do have, 3 more weeks here, with the week April 24th is the draft, so we still got a few weeks here where we can start speculating on what the Lions are going to do. We do have some indicators now as the weeks of free agency kind of tick on, some movements that have basically hinted at what I've been saying for the entire offseason, that the Lions are not going to be taking a corner in the first round. That's just silly nonsense and tomfoolery. But before we get into that, guys, right here, I got a sneaky little article pulled up from PFF's Mock Draft Simulator. You guys know I like to do mock drafts, and I like stats. So this here, we got the most picked 2025 NFL prospects for every team, according to PFF's Mock Draft Simulator. And I think this will be kind of interesting. Give us a little bit of insight as to where each team's more or less fandom is kind of wanting things to go. I wonder, can I do this? Can I do this? Oh, that didn't kill my stream. Damn it. I was kind of hoping to leave the chat up over here. Let's see. Can I pin? Yeah, let's go America. I'm going to go ahead and pin you to the top there, Mr. Detroit City. Let's go America. It's hard to beat a comment like that. I'm still trying to figure out the live stream stuff, guys, here, so I appreciate you sticking with me. But with this statistic and information that we're going to get, this little bit of data that PFF has gone out and farmed for us to read, will give us an indicator of where the fandoms are wanting their players to go, and what we see a lot of guys doing, like me, like myself, where, maybe we see something like where a lot of the Lions fandom is trading out of 28 because there's just so much talent in the early part of the second round, and Brad Holmes loves to accrue draft capital. He's good at utilizing draft capital, both in wheeling and dealing right before the trade deadline, as we've seen with Zadarius Smith, and then also historically, Brad Holmes likes to use draft capital to move about the draft board. He's one of the more active GMs in the Lions franchise history. But excuse me, we're also going to cut it a little bit short today. Probably not going to go much more over an hour as much as I'd like to, because I got the day off. We'll see. I got a little bit of an upset tummy situation going on over here. So before we get into it, guys, do me a solid. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring that notification bell so that you never miss out on any content. Comment down below if you're watching this on the replay. Just say what's up. It's totally costs you nothing, and I'm happy to see people engaging afterwards. Obviously, if you're sitting here live, go ahead and feel free to engage. We got a little community going on here, led mostly by the guy, Mr. Detroit City. There you see him in the blue. He's one of our moderators here. He hangs out pretty much every single day, and I really appreciate that, buddy. So feel free to engage with people in the chat down below. And then lastly, just go ahead and click that share button and share this video around with all your friends. And if you don't feel like sharing it around with your friends, if Hat and Beard's a little bit of an embarrassment to you, that's fine too. Just go ahead and copy. Just go ahead and copy the shareable link. I really, really appreciate that. If everyone that watches this video, both live and on the replay, were to do this, it would boost us up to the algorithm. It would show YouTube that what we do here is engaging, and it's worth them recommending out to other people. It'll help us grow. Obviously, we're chasing that big 700 number. Hopefully, we'd like to get there before the draft, and then we'd really like to eclipse that 1,000 subscriber number before the start of the NFL regular season. And I'm starting to think that if we end up hitting over 1,000 subscribers by the start of the regular season, maybe I'll consider, I do have a Rumble channel. It's just that I don't like the coloring of Rumble's interface. And it's a little clunky a few years ago when I was still utilizing it. But I do have the Hat and Beard Show channel over on rumble.com. And I have considered maybe dual streaming over to rumble.com as well, because that platform has seen a lot of growth, and that's nothing really against YouTube. I've never really had too much of a situation with YouTube suppressing or trying to hinder my channel's growth, although it does feel like it at times. It would be kind of nice to see what kind of a market there is over at Rumble for sports commentary content like this. Obviously, it's a little bit more of a free speech platform. I'm a huge advocate for free speech, but it's just something we're kind of toying around with. So just, we'll think about it. Go ahead and bear with me while we kind of slog through this, and we're going to hop right into this PFF.com news draft mock draft simulator. Most picked 2025 NFL prospects for every team. There you see Cam Ward. More and more, it's looking like Tennessee is going to have to go out and get their quarterback of the future by drafting Cam Ward number 1 overall. And I've been saying it, as the draft process unfolds, I've been saying it a little bit more and more here. And that is that I actually think that right out of the rip, Shedeur Sanders probably does have a better ceiling and is a little bit more of a pro-ready quarterback entering the league as a rookie, right? He's had, obviously, the name, the pedigree of who his dad is, but also he's had the toolage of, Tom Brady, who is arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Hardware proves it, and I'm not even a Patriots fan, right? But Shedeur Sanders probably enters the NFL as, of the two big quarterbacks available in this year's draft, is probably the more pro-ready right now. But I do feel that Cam Ward overall has a higher ceiling than Shedeur Sanders does. How long it takes him to get to that ceiling, that's a matter of speculation. Obviously, everybody's trajectory in the NFL is a little bit different. I think that if Cam Ward were to go to the Tennessee Titans number 1 overall, even though he has a higher ceiling, it will take him longer to get to that ceiling if he were to go to an organization with slightly better structure around him. If Cam Ward could land in a spot like Man, so if Cam Ward could figure out a way to slide, or if the Vegas Raiders could figure out a way to climb up to be in contention for Cam Ward, although it's probably never going to happen. I don't see him getting, if he doesn't go number 1 overall, obviously the Browns are probably going to pull the trigger on him at number 2. But I think that if Cam Ward, what is this? What is this? Get out of here. Get out of here, Walmart. I don't want your ad. Well, suffer through the Walmart ad, I guess. If Cam Ward were to go to an organization like the Vegas Raiders, where they have a more proven head coach that has been able to develop quarterback talent and utilize underdeveloped quarterback talent. Look what he did with Geno Smith, right? Look what Pete Carroll did with Geno Smith. Slightly better weapons around them, better receiving group. Obviously, there's the tight end there, Brock Bowers. If Cam Ward were to go to a place like the Vegas Raiders, his ceiling would be more attainable at a shorter rate than if he were to go to well, let's be honest, Tennessee isn't necessarily the best well-managed franchise. And I feel that as a Detroit Lions fan, I can speak to this from years of experience, because for years and years and years and years, arguably before Sheila came into control of the organization here in the Motor City, the Detroit Lions were one of the worst-run franchises in all of sports, right? And I think that Tennessee kind of falls in line with that. I disagree with the Mike Vrabel firing a few years back. Derrick Henry being a future Hall of Famer, not being able to figure out a way to keep him in town. The trading of A.J. Brown, basically ever since... Now, there was a good couple years there with... Chris Johnson, Lendell White. I think who was quarterbacking for him? Was it like Kerry Collins or some shit like that? But they had just this elite level defense. I just don't feel like Tennessee has really been a well-ran organization ever since. Well, and now that I think about it, even though Jeff Fisher was the head coach, he's kind of a turd sandwich, but they did have guys like Steve Air McNair, Eddie George. They had, Javon Curse, who was the freak amongst freaks as a rookie. I just feel that if Cam Ward were to go to a organization like the Tennessee Titans, his ceiling, although still higher than Shedeur Sanders, will take the full year, probably even a year and a half to finally develop, because there isn't a lot of talent there for him to go out and utilize. So you're looking at, a high ceiling quarterback with not a lot of weapons around him. You're going to be waiting until next year's first round wide receiver to come. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like you're waiting at an organization like Tennessee. But I do think that, all this to say, I do think Cam Ward will go number 1 overall and is the better long-term prospect between Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Do either one of them stack up long-term? Do I see either one of those guys becoming a generational talent? No, fuck no, hell no. If anything, Brock Purdy has a better chance, because of where he was taken, of establishing a legacy in the NFL than the son of a Hall of Famer, if that makes sense, right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. We're going to pop over to the chat real quick. Mr. Detroit City, these QBs are not much better than Hendon Hooker, to be honest. Bush League QB class, no doubt. And I totally agree with you on there. The both in the free agent market and the draft prospects. If I'm being honest, I like the Armon Jackson Dart better than I like these two. And he's what, the third best maybe quarterback in the draft, right? This class is not great at the quarterback spot. This is not the year you want to be looking for a quarterback. And let's be honest, there's probably a little bit of that crystal ball action that Brad Holmes is able to do, where he was able to look at the prospects coming out and was like, hey, better re-sign JG16, because there isn't going to be anything, in the free agent market, nor the draft prospects, right? If any, I guess if I were to take a winger on a guy in the second or third round, I'd be looking at like Quinn Ewers, right? But I've said it before. I have this sneaky suspicion. And obviously this is a long outtake, and the odds of it are astronomical. I have a feeling that Brad Holmes is trying to figure out a way to be able to manipulate, be it the duration of Jared Goff's contract, making sure money's available, possible acquisition of more draft capital. Where Brad Holmes is I just have this feeling Brad Holmes is going to try and make a move for Arch Manning. Am I crazy? Am I crazy to think that Brad Holmes is trying to figure out a way a few years down the road to have the leverage to go after Arch Manning, right? Because, last year's draft class, Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is hot garbage, especially pairing him with Benedict Arnold Johnson. That is a recipe for disaster in Chicago. If anything, Drake May was the better prospect of the two of them and has already an easier path. I think he has a better franchise, a better organization, a better head coach to help develop him. But there's just not, where's the, obviously you can't really project a guy like Patrick Mahomes, all the experts said. Jeanette Hall says, over at the chat, I agree that there is not a super QB as a first-round pick. Yeah, there's just not. And let's be honest, we are all not experts here, are we? We're all just Jimmys and Joes hanging out watching sports on a Sunday, Monday, Thursday night, right? But even if we can see it, then the pros have to see it. And Brad Holmes knew that, and that's why I think that he locked JG16 up for the 4 years that he did, and will probably be making a play for Arch Manning. If I were to just go with my gut instinct on this, or maybe I'm just wishful thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I think of this class, Quinn Ewers or Jackson Dart would be someone, a day 2 pick that I'd be kind of targeting. But circumstances will prevail. Tennessee will probably take Cam Ward, and they need to, because the Mayo man is not cutting it down there in Tennessee. And I was actually kind of a Will Levis fan, although he does look like he has a little bit of dookie right there on his upper lip. Like, he always looks like he's got poop on his upper lip and smell. It's just like, doesn't he walk around like he's like, do you smell shit? Like, he's just got that. But I think he can actually fling the ball, and I'd like to see Will Levis maybe get another opportunity someplace else. But he's probably going to go the Zach Wilson, Desmond Ridder route, where Cam Ward will be brought in, anointed. They'll give you the lip service of, well, we're having a competition and blah blah blah, but ultimately, probably midway through training camp, if he even sees the preseason week 1, Will Levis will probably be dealt to another organization, right? There'll probably be a trade. They'll get a 6th rounder for him or something from a team that missed out on, say Geno Smith gets into another fight in the locker room and gets his face broken again, right? Then we're looking at a situation where an organization might need to make a move for a capable quarterback, because Geno Smith is a turd sandwich. The Raiders might miss out on someone like Shedeur Sanders, or where they're at 6. I don't think they're going to want to take a Jackson Dart, right? But maybe the Raiders are dancing partners with somebody. So let's finally get in. Boy, that was a 20-minute intro here to this article here. I'm gonna fuck all this. We're just going to get right into it. The countdown to the 2025 NFL Draft is officially underway, and with speculations at an all-time high, fans are eager to see how their favorite teams will shape the future. And we are also at an all-time high with our speculations, or at least I am at an all-time high this morning. Speculations. To get a sense of where each franchise might be leaning, we turn to the PFF Mock Draft Simulator to identify the most popular selections among fan bases. From potential franchise quarterbacks to game-changing defenders, here's a look at the picks fans are making for the most from potential franchise quarterbacks. Yes, they do have the potential to be a franchise quarterback, but they are not the answer. Looks like we're going to run through this alphabetically. The Arizona Cardinals, Kenneth Grant from Michigan. Grant is a rare blend of size and athleticism, displaying exceptional quickness for a player of his stature. Sorry, guys, I got a fucking Zen thing. He reacts quickly to counters, keeps his hands active in passing lanes, and has the movement skills to be disruptive interior force. And that would be a nice spot for a nice guy for the Lions to go after and get. All right, little running mate, played ball with Hutch in college, and then has been able to really just turn it on. All right, but Arizona looking to solidify on defense. This is a good defensive draft class, guys. Let's be honest. This is a real good defensive draft class. The Falcons linebacker Jihad Campbell, who I kind of would love to see the Lions. Well, this is before the Derek Barnes signing. Re-signing. I would have liked to seen the Lions go after a Jihad Campbell. Campbell has the idea, build, and athletic ability to play at any linebacker spot. But he projects best at the Mike or the Sam linebacker in a 4-3 scheme, or a Mike edge in a 4-3-4 scheme. He must continue to develop anticipation and strength, but he has the mold of an all-pro player. The Baltimore Ravens, yeah, James Pierce Jr., who we've talked about this cat a lot. I mean, I've seen him go anywhere from the top 10 to all the way down to Detroit at 28. And you guys know that if he somehow falls to the mid-20s, Brad Holmes better be picking up the phone and wheeling and dealing, trying to get his hands on James Pierce Jr. Pierce is the kind of athlete with production and disruption scores you don't let out of the first round. His twitchy movements show difference-making NFL traits that can be situational at worst and all-pro at best. That's awesome. When your floor is a situational player, though still elite, or an all-pro is your ceiling. That's an awesome draft profile. Really. Oh, what is this? Get out of here, Walmart. Get out of here, Walmart. What is this shit? Oy. Buffalo Bills. Defensive tackle Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Harmon has just 1 year of notable production, but that season showcased a player with a high football IQ, consistent competitiveness, and NFL-level quickness. He can be an effective 3-technique defensive lineman for an even front. So that's a nice little just like pigeonholed you. But, you got to know your role, dude. You're not going to want to be drafted as a 3-technique and be expected to play the nose, right? All right, the Panthers going after wide receiver Tatoria McMillan, who a lot of people want the Dallas Cowboys to go after and get. McMillan has all-pro potential because of his length, athleticism, and football intelligence. He's a smooth criminal. Ow! Yeah. Real quick, hang on, let's finish this up. He's a smooth criminal with a receiver who has the focal point of Arizona's offense. He is a unique talent who deserves to be considered a top 10 in the 2025 NFL Draft. So, smooth criminal. Speaking of Michael Jackson, for whatever reason, y'all. Oh, my gosh. Have you ever just woken up with random... I got this thing, I call it jukebox brain, where I just wake up with random ditties and songs stuck in my head, and for whatever reason... last Friday, I woke up with, I don't know the name of the song, but it's whatever song Michael Jackson sang in the, 1993 major motion picture Free Willy. And the thing is not only did I wake up with that song in my head, but I distinctly remember that night dreaming for some reason. This is going to sound real fucking weird, dude. I woke up with the song from Free Willy stuck in my head after having the most bizarre dream that I was in a hut in the woods trading stocks. Yeah. Like I was like a day broker that lived in a hut in the woods. Fucking weird. I do not understand. It's fucking weird, right? All right. Chicago Bears. Running back Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. Jeanty is a total package backfield maker with impressive balance, footwork, vision, explosiveness, and big playability. Reminiscent of Alvin Kamara, he is a first-round offensive weapon who can succeed behind any blocking scheme. Yes, he does draw the Alvin Kamara comp, and first of all, he's not going to fall to the Bears, I don't think. And does Ben Johnson is Ben Johnson a run-first schemed head coach, or does Ben Johnson like his trick plays with lots of passes? Is Ben Johnson going to want to lean into Caleb Williams more, or does he want to go after and spend a first-round pick on Ashton Jeanty, who draws comps to Alvin Kamara and Jahmyr Gibbs? Now, if Gibbs hadn't blown up the last 2 years, does Ashton Jeanty even make it in the first round? Right? I don't think. I mean, good for the fans of Chicago, which you guys are all fucking idiots, right? I'm gonna be honest. Bears fans are fucking morons. You guys are some of the dumbest fucking people in the NFL fandom. Most notably, Most of you probably live in Chicago, and that place is a fucking shithole, dude. So you're dumb and you live in a shithole. I just don't like the Bears. I can't fucking stand Caleb Williams. I was a big Brian Urlacher fan back in the day. I was even a David Montgomery fan before he came to Detroit. I thought that guy was just very Matt Forte-esque. I like Matt Forte. So this isn't a slam against the Bears organization. You guys have had players. That letter that Peanut Tillman wrote to Calvin Johnson when he retired will always be one of the best literary pieces to come out from an NFL player towards another player or coach. I just fucking hate Ben Johnson. I can't fucking stand Caleb Williams. I don't like the city of Chicago. And you guys are fucking nuts if you think Ashton Genty is going to fall to you. Obviously, the top two quarterback prospects are probably not making it out of the top 5 picks. And then sitting there at sweet number 6 is the Las Vegas Raiders, and they are in desperate need of a playmaker at running back. So, pull your head out of your ass, Chicago. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just spitballing here talking shit, guys. I don't like the fucking Bears. Cincinnati. Oh, gotcha. All right, my bad. I was like, how did James Pierce Jr. get drafted twice? That's right. This is a fan. This is by the numbers, data-driven. Cincinnati Bengals also really want James Pierce Jr. He is the kind of athlete with production and disruptive scores you don't let out of the first round. So there's the same. We've already read that about James Pierce Jr. What more can you say about him? Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter, totally makes sense, right? A rare athlete combines elite explosiveness and bend with a natural feel for pass rushing. Despite his lighter frame, he plays with physicality and uses his basketball background to his advantage, displaying a crossover-like style to keep blockers off balance. And that we have seen it a lot where former basketball players are able to transition to the NFL with unique skill sets, right? Antonio Gates comes to mind. I think, didn't Tony Gonzalez also play basketball? And now Abdul Carter. There are some attributes that translate well, position specific. Now, they say right in there his lighter frame on Abdul Carter, and we all know that that's not going to be that big of an issue for NFL trainers to put on some weight for him through the offseason. And then obviously, maybe his rookie year he plays at a little bit lighter weight. Then he comes in at year 2 with a few pounds of muscle on him. And then, you pair Abdul Carter, who does project to be a high-level athlete at the pro level. And if he has any type of career trajectory compared to what he's supposed to have, you pair him with Myles Garrett, and you are looking at a very terrifying pass rush duo in Cleveland. Pardon me. I do like the Abdul Carter, and not only that, but when you're sitting at two, and the Lions fandom can speak to this, we've been in the number 2 spot a lot. You're not really getting too wild with your expectations, like we're seeing over here with Cincinnati wanting James Pierce and Baltimore also wanting James Pierce. The Lions wanting James Pierce. Everybody wants James Pierce because Abdul Carter's not making it past the top 3 spots. I mean, that's just not going to happen. And if he does make it out of the top 2 or the top 3 spots, whoever's sitting at 4 is going to be getting a lot of phone calls. The Cowboys also want Tatoria McMillan. He has all-pro potential because of his length, athleticism. We've already read that. He considers to be a top 10 in the NFL draft, right? Denver Broncos, Luther Burden III. Here we go, Denver. Tempering expectations. You guys were very lucky last year with how the 47-year-old rookie Bo Nix at quarterback was able to transition his game from the pro level or the collegiate level to the pro level. There were some growing pains there, yes. And you guys, have a better defense than you do offense. You do need some weapons brought in, and going after a wide receiver in the first round makes sense, right? Luther Burden III is a good wide receiver, fits into your system well, should be able to help in the development. And we also know that Sean Payton is really, really good at developing offensive players. If you have a cunt hair worth of talent, Sean Payton is going to figure out a way to get it out of you, right? Look what he did with players in New Orleans for his entire tenure there. The Green Bay Packers, oh, look at that. They also want James Pierce Jr. Oh, well, it's because he's the kind of athlete with production and disruptive scores. We know this, and fuck me in the ass if Green Bay gets James Pierce. I'll be really pissed about that. The Houston Texans want Kenneth Grant. We read about him from Michigan, the big defensive tackle. So the Texans fans want, I don't know what your guys' draft stats are or where your guys are picking at. or what kind of picks you have, but it might be a little bit difficult to go after the big defensive tackle out of Michigan, who is slowly creeping up everybody's draft board. The Indianapolis Colts want tight end Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Warren is a do-over, and we have seen the re-emergence of the tight end position in today's NFL. If you guys recall, leading into a couple of years ago, and still to this day, the Brock Bowers is kind of the exception recently, but I just don't feel like taking a tight end in the first round is worth it. I think that you can get plenty of tight end talent. Look at what the Lions did with Sam Laporta in the second round 2 years ago, right? But when you've gone through the Brandon Pettigrews and the Eric Ebrons, you have a little bit of shell shock when it comes to taking tight ends in the first round. Some teams are able to make it work. Some teams aren't necessarily, it's not that they're able to make it work. It's that some teams have enough talent elsewhere that they have the luxury of taking a tight end in the first round. Do the Indianapolis Colts fit that mold? Do the Indianapolis Colts fit into that situation where, there are just so many playmakers? We have so much talent across all 53 spots that we can just take a luxury pick at the tight end, right? Does that really make sense? I don't think that makes sense. I think that the Colts have a lot more problems elsewhere. And if you really want a tight end, maybe look at trading back a couple spots and accruing some more draft capital, taking the tight end 2 or 3 spots later, and also having more picks to try and get yourself some guys. Because the Colts, I'm going to be real, I was a big Anthony Richardson fan, right? I thought he had a really high ceiling. I thought he was going to be able to figure it out, and in the right situation. I thought the Colts might have been the right situation, actually, for him to grow and develop, and that's just not the case. Maybe they're trying to give him every possible weapon available to him, but I'm just not a fan of going tight end in the first round. I'm just not a fan of going tight end in the first round. See here, Ashton Genty's going number 5 a lot. Here you see the some people's breakdown of the top talent available. Travis Hunter does kind of come in at PFF's number 1 spot because he did win the Heisman Trophy, and he's a very, 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 very rare breed of a guy who can play at an incredibly high level, multiple positions on both sides of the ball. I do like Travis Hunter. I just feel fucking bad for that guy, man. Oh, that Jezebel he's dating, she is going to destroy his life. The Jaguars, Mason Graham out of Michigan is an explosive interior defender with an elite first step. Graham combines excellent bend with flexibility with fast, powerful hands. His devastating push-pull makes him a nightmare for blockers, while his strength allows him to anchor and hold the line effectively. I do like the defensive prospects out of Michigan, and I am not a fan of the University of Michigan or any of the people that come out of there except for Aiden Hutchinson. I don't like it. I don't like U of M. I don't like their fans. It is what it is. I do like Mason Graham, though. He would be an excellent addition for the Detroit Lions, and Jacksonville Jaguars fans are like, hey, the last time we passed on a defensive lineman from the University of Michigan, and I'm not saying that Trayvon Walker is a bad NFL player. No, he's way better than, say, Thibodeau or any of the other ends taken after Aiden Hutchinson in that draft. But the problem is that the Jacksonville Jaguars ended up passing on the Michigan Mayhem man out of Ann Arbor here, and they took Trayvon Walker number 1 overall, which allowed the Detroit Lions to take Aiden Hutchinson number 2 overall, and it was just serendipitous. But maybe they learned their lesson, and they're not going to bypass a highly talented Michigan defensive lineman. The Kansas City Chiefs want Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Has 1 year of notable production. We've already read about that guy. The Raiders, see there, Ashton Genty, boys, the total package, and this is what I've been saying. I think Ashton Genty is going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders, and it almost seems like a natural fit for him. Doesn't he seem like the type of guy that the Raiders organization historically would want? Just win, baby. Speed kills, right? The Chargers going after Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, and a good fit, probably, yeah. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh has experience with the guy. Colston lacks the density as a player, as an inline tight end consistently in the NFL, but he brings plenty of value as a tall, long pass catcher with natural hands, crisp routes in the line to be a big slot or X receiver. He also has some versatility to play attached to the line of scrimmage in certain situations. That is a very, very niche player. Hey, all right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, we're going to run over to the chat real quick here, dude. I'm chasing Chase. My guy. My dude. Yo, I've been waiting. Hang on. I've been waiting to do this. I've been waiting to do this, bro, since I figured out how to add moderators and stuff. And I've been waiting for you to be in so I could do this. There you go, Chase. Wanted to make you a moderator, my dude. That's my boy. I'm chasing Chase. Go subscribe to his channel. He's a good friend of mine. Known him for a long, long time. And dude, Chase, you helped me out so much with technical issues and stuff. I tried lowering the latency to get the chat a little bit more on time. Hopefully there's not too much of a delay. Mr. Detroit City, I see Ben Johnson going Ashton. And that's the question, Mr. Detroit City. Is Ben Johnson a acolyte of Dan Campbell? Does he go after the running back? Does he go after a run first, win him through the trenches type team? Or is it going to be the Ben Johnson we've seen with the trick plays and the gadget plays? And, there's a lot of speculation about Ben Johnson just, sending a lot of nudes on Snapchat to Caleb Williams. There's a lot of not safe for work content exchange between the two of them, saying things that they would do with one another. It's what everybody's saying. I'm not saying this is what they say, right? I'm just saying what everybody else is. Always happy to help, glad to help Chase, and I'm always glad that you are there to help, my dude. Hopefully we get things squared away here, and I do appreciate you though, bro, and all the help that you've been able to give me, and that type of stuff, dude. So appreciate you hanging out, guys. But yeah, Ben Johnson going after Ashton. I guess what I'm saying is that I think really highly of Ashton Genty, and I don't want him to go to Chicago. How's that? Is that fair? I just think Ashton Genty could be that guy, and I don't want him to go to Chicago because I fucking hate the Bears. And Ben Johnson, fucking asshole. Ben Johnson's an asshole, dude. Fucking douche nozzle. The Los Angeles Rams. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, they also need a tight end, and they also want to go after Colston Loveland, according to their fan base. Stupid. That's what I was gonna say. As far back to the tight end spot, and we can sum up both of these Los Angeles players. So Colston Loveland looks like you might want to start looking for property in Los Angeles. Enjoy that tax base. Might I suggest avoiding places like Malibu or the Palisades? Although you could probably get really good deals on the property there. You're going to be a few years into your contract before you're able to really move in there. California, dude. But Colston Loveland, here's the problem I have with taking Colston Loveland in the first round, guys. One, I don't believe in taking tight ends in the first round. We've talked about that many, many times. But the fact that he's a long, tall pass catcher with natural hands and crisp routes. He can light up as at the slot or the X receiver spot as a tight end. But he doesn't play well as a natural tight end. There's no block. There's no lead in his ass. There's no mass. He's a better fit for the Chargers than the Rams because he has familiarity with Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh probably already knows how to maximize him. The Rams, Sean McVay is going to have. There's going to be a bit of a learning curve there, and the question then becomes: is how long are you willing to stick around, or how long is Matt Stafford willing to stick around? How long is the familiarity going to develop there? The Rams obviously moved on from Cooper Kupp. Maybe they're going to be looking at going actual wide receiver instead of a. Does Marcus Colston draw comparisons to Eric Ebron? Right, not really a great tight end, a little slow to be a wide receiver, just kind of a big-bodied pass catcher. And we see how well that worked out with the Detroit Lions and Eric Ebron with Matt Stafford, right? We already know how that's going to go. So that's how I feel about both of these spots. All right, here we go. Miami Dolphins going after Malachi Starks, a safety out of Georgia. A well-built safety with good athleticism. Starks boasts impressive top-end speed and a long wingspan that helps him disrupt passing lanes. His smooth, fluid hips give him excellent range and deep coverage, while his long communication skills make him a leader on the back end. So let's just go ahead and think about this for one hot second. Looking here down in the Motor City, who else has top high-end speed, long wingspan, fluid, smooth, dancer-like hips, and good communication skills? That's right. That is a perfect comparison to Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph, the best safety in football. Statistically, who has more interceptions since entering the league at the safety spot? Nobody. Kirby Joseph deserves to be recognized as a top 3 safety in the entire NFL. And Brian Branch is also in that conversation. What? I'm a homer. I'm a big old Detroit Lions homer. The Vikings want Derek Harmon. We've also read about him. The Pats want Abdul Carter. Pats fans want Abdul Carter. Do they, though? Well, if he's there, you almost have to. If Abdul Carter falls to the New England Patriots, if Abdul Carter makes it out of the top 2 picks, the Patriots almost have to go after him. You'd be fucking foolish not to. You'd be foolish not to go after Abdul Carter if you're the New England Patriots, regardless. If he falls to you, you almost have to take him. The talent level there, he immediately makes your defense better. Mike Vrabel is a defensive-minded head coach, and you put him in a situation. Now, this is the 2 camps that I fall into thinking about the New England Patriots. I don't know why I think about the New England Patriots so goddamn much. You either go in the first round and you go and you protect your first-round quarterback. You get yourself the best the best offensive lineman or Travis Hunter, and you add either the best protection you possibly can in front of Drake May to give him a little bit more time. If you can get a top end offensive lineman that gives Drake May 1 extra second in the pocket, that will unlock him to the next level. If you bring in a wide receiver that Drake May, because they missed out on DK Metcalf, that Drake May can go and throw the ball to and make plays, you unlock Drake May to that next level. However, if you go and you put a high-end defense on the other 50% of the snaps that Drake May is not involved in, you put him into a San Francisco 49ers Brock Purdy situation. Or if you're an old head like me, a Mark Sanchez with the Jets in his rookie year and then his second year type situation, right? You put a high-end defense in front of a developing quarterback instead of giving weapons to the quarterback, right? So there's 2 camps to fall into. Now, if I were the New England Patriots and Abdul Carter somehow makes it past the top 2 picks, I'm going after Abdul Carter. You have to. You got to. I'm taking Abdul Carter. Now, if Abdul Carter's not there and you're in the New England Patriots, obviously, me as a meat and potatoes guy, I'm going with the best available offensive lineman that I can possibly get my dirty little dick beaters on to protect my franchise quarterback. The Saints want Tatoria McMillan. We've already read about him 3 times now. The Giants with Shedeur Sanders. Sanders may be a below average in stature and arm talent compared to NFL quarterbacks, but he has plays the game cleanly, takes care of the football, and is as tough as nails with ice in his veins under pressure. Oh wow, that is a really fluffing him up there. And let's just be honest. Shedeur Sanders to the Giants makes the most sense because you put in you put in primetime light there, right? A little junior primetime in the New York media market, and it is a cash cow. It is NFL turns on the money machine, right? The money machine goes brrrt, right? Because Shedeur Sanders, Neon Dion, the headlines, the news, the coverage that they're going to be able to just milk through the entire offseason will boost ratings, boost viewership. You'll be able to get more clicks because you're putting the biggest name in the draft in the largest media market. All right, so that almost makes sense. Are the weapons there for Shedeur Sanders to succeed? Don't know. I don't really follow the Giants all that well. Here we go with Shedeur Sanders. It's his draft profile. The Jets, Will Campbell, the big tackle out of LSU. Campbell plays with balance, control, and efficiency, using quick, compact movements to stay in position. His active hands are always ready to strike, and his patience allows him to react rather than commit. That is awesome. While his base is narrower, he has adequate power to hold his own at the next level. Wow. That's pretty impressive. All right. So that is a hell of, as a former offensive lineman and someone who really enjoys offensive line play, Will Campbell, first of all, the Jets under first-year head coach Aaron Glenn, who I've said numerous times, I'll continue to say that I do not think that either one of the two hires from the Detroit Lions organization as head coach positions are going to succeed as head coaches. I don't think Ben Johnson has it. I've said that numerous times. I think he's in a bad situation, and he's an asshole. Aaron Glenn, although a better coach because he's been in it. He's played he was a first-round pick of the New York Jets. He has the pedigree, the locker room experience. He can communicate with the guys. Again, that New York media market is in gravity multiplier X2, right? That media market immediately impacts the amount of pressure put on the players and the coaching, as well as I just don't think the Jets organization is that well run. If the Jets were to decide to pull their heads out of their asses and start to right the ship, first of all, they would get rid of those god-awful green helmets. They'd go back to the white with the green stripe and the circle green Jets on the helmet, right? The Vinny Testaverde, Chad Pennington, Keyshawn Johnson, Wayne Krebet. Yeah, baby, Wayne Krebet era. Who's an old head now? Wayne Sherbert. Good old Wayne Sherbert. Hell yeah, Wayne Krebet. But you see here the difference between what the fan bases want. The fan bases in Chicago want their playmaker, right? They want flash in the pan. Under their first-year head coach, they say, fuck it, let Caleb Williams just get his asshole just destroyed all season long, especially as it projects out next season. The Detroit Lions defense is going to be even better with Aiden Hutchinson returning, so Caleb Williams is going to get his shit pushed in twice a year by Aiden Hutchinson. I'm talking at least 8 sacks by Aiden Hutchinson alone against the Bears, right? So the Jets, though, are like, hey, let's pull our head out of our ass and let's protect whoever is throwing the ball. Let's go ahead and get us an offensive line because there are certain things that you just, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. High-level teams have high-level offensive lines. You can't do shit without a strong offensive line, and your defense can't do shit without a strong defensive line. Everything, look at the way that every play starts. It starts with the ball being snapped from the line of scrimmage. So if you start from where the play starts at the line of scrimmage and build everything else outward, you should have success. And Aaron Glenn and the New York Jets fandom by going Will Campbell would make the absolute best decision available. Why do I like this? Look at this here. Look, let's go ahead. He's using quick, compact movements to stay in position. So that's what you call fast twitch. That's what you call making the small. This is the big difference between, college level and pro level players. As college level players are good, they have a lot of athleticism, though they tend to rely on what got them by, at the high school level and then at the collegiate level. When you get to the collegiate level, everybody is the elite level. Everybody is top end talent. Everybody does all of the little things. And if you have a prospect like Will Campbell coming out of LSU, who as a collegiate level athlete is already doing the small things, the control, the efficiency, quick, compact movements. It's the subtle things players can do. You'll see sometimes where players can just do hand movements to try and bait other players and to put themselves in bad positions where it can be taken advantage of, especially in line play. His active hands are ready to strike, so he's got that good punch. What you need to understand is that a lot of offensive line play involves a lot of short, we're talking about 16-inch movements of hand placement, a lot of push, a lot of punch, right? So if he can keep defensive linemen and push them off balance with these punches, these strikes, and then also this is what I really like to. His patience allows him to react, and that's the thing about offensive line play. Unless you're running the ball, and even when running the ball, you are reacting. But even when running the ball, you're more so attacking. But in pass pro, you're baiting and you're reacting. And where you'll see a lot of guys get fucked. So the reason why Aiden Hutchinson can nail his spin move so well is that he's so fast and long that he's able to utilize bend and agility to force opposing offensive tackles to get out of position by forcing them to commit in a position that the physics doesn't allow them to correct themselves in a timely manner, where when Aiden Hutchinson is attacking versus an offensive lineman who's moving backwards, say Hutch can go out, he can get the heavier set offensive lineman to be able to commit to the outside and then be able to manipulate the physics and bend back where the offensive lineman can't react because he's so far overcommitted. Where this guy Will Campbell is being projected out as he's reacting instead of overcommitting. So say Hutch comes in and tries to bend to the outside, this guy's just putting himself in position instead of committing to position. So he's trying to play a chess match with the opposing defensive lineman and setting himself up to try and be in multiple positions to react to, say, instead of one move, 3 separate moves with quick agility and cerebral movements. The adequate power, the adequate power to hold his own at the next level, though having a narrow base. The narrow base is totally fixable. Maybe we need to do some band work in your stance, maybe develop the hip flexor muscles, the interior small muscles a little bit more to feel more comfortable in a slightly wider stance, maybe develop your groin a little bit more. Obviously, you need to get into the squat rack a lot more here, bud, to build out that lower base, but he already comes in with a high power up top that allows him to be able to defend himself from being taken advantage of, with the example that I just put forward of bending a top-heavy offensive lineman to the outside and then making him try and react to the inside or overcommit to the outside and not being able to react to the inside. Man, I hope that makes sense. I really like offensive line play. The Eagles want defensive end Nick Scoriton. Scoriton brings an alluring combination of overall size and pass rush moves to the edge spot, which gives him the ideal versatility for a 3-4 or 4-3 front. So that is some good value to have there, a guy who can project at the edge at either spot. However, he does have some length and flexibility limitations. In his current state, he feels like a player who can disrupt and amass pressures, but won't be a high sack rush counter. So he might not be able to get home, but the pressures might be there. The Eagles looking to replace that Josh Sweat spot. And, I got to hand it to the Eagles. I'm not a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but they just, goddamn, they know how to draft, man. They really know how to draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers also want Shedeur Sanders. We've already read about his comp. Gross. Gross. I just think that's a gross spot for Shedeur Sanders to go. There is talent at wide receiver, but I don't think that where you're seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers heading now, especially with George Pickens being a head case, DK Metcalf will be a boon. They're weak at running back. They do have a good defense. I don't think what you want to see is a low ceiling rookie quarterback go to an organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a little bit gun shy on the first round quarterbacks after Kenny Pickett. They got real lucky with Ben Roethlisberger, but Kenny Pickett didn't work out, even though they had more opportunities to scout him than any other teams in the NFL, be it that he played at Pitt and played his ball at Heinz Field. And they missed on him. And if you miss on him, why would you missed on Kenny Pickett, who was a bad quarterback class, first-round quarterback? Why would you then take another first-round quarterback in a bad quarterback class, especially with the nightmare that Shedeur Sanders could potentially bring to the organization? Right? I don't think Mike Tomlin's that guy. That being said, I did see articles where it's looking like, speaking of nightmare situation, it is looking like Aaron Rodgers is going to end up being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Look for him to sign. I'm hearing rumblings roughly April 9th in probably synchronicity with the Pat McAfee show being in Pittsburgh. Let me hit this coffee real quick, fellas. All right. The Seahawks also want James Pierce. Everybody wants James Pierce. The Tampa Buccaneers, there is no Tampa Bay. There is Tampa, Florida. So the Tampa, Bay Buccaneers, I don't know what a Bay Buccaneer is. They're Buccaneers who exclusively pillage bays. We've already read about Jahad Campbell. The Titans, Cam Ward. Appreciating Ward, an unorthodox big game quarterback, requires a leap of faith. He is ultra confident, at times to a fault. His mentality could one day make him an all-pro. That is, if his fundamentals don't drop him from the league entirely. It's just not a great quarterback class, But the head space, I'm gonna go make plays. I'd rather have someone wanting to go make plays than the shit show that could potentially be Shedeur Sanders. The commies want James Pierce Jr. Everybody wants James Pierce Jr. Did I pass the Lions? Did I pass Detroit? I feel like we went over everybody. Oh, I guess I just blew right past us. Oh, because whoops. Whoops. Oh, well. Wow, that took almost an hour to get through this. I think it was projected as an 8-minute read. Took me almost an hour to get through that. Should we go ahead? Do you guys want to go ahead and read this other quick little read here? Fuck it. Why not? Let's go ahead and read this. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I said it was gonna be a shorter show, but fuck it, man. I ain't got to work today. We're just going to keep rolling. You guys hanging with me here. I appreciate everyone hanging out and down in the chat, chilling, kicking it. So we're going to take it over to sportsillustrated.com. This is Detroit Lions stats that must improve in 2025. What was our big Achilles heel last year, boys? Well, we know it was the defense. Defense. And the defense, where can the Lions defense grow in 2025? Defense wins championships. See, right here, this play right here, Amik Robertson, doesn't this just like encapsulate everything about our defense last year? Amik Robertson, gritty, tough-nosed sumbitch, competing, shoved into a spot that he had no business in, right? He wasn't projected to be the starter. No homeowners to deal with today. Hell yeah, Mr. Detroit City, so you're just chilling. Fuck it, I'm just pushing numbers, making walkthrough templates for Homo today down to listen. My guy, hell yeah, Mr. Detroit City. I love it, dude. I love it. We're gonna chill for a little bit longer here. Can't keep riding it out. I mean, I ain't got no work today, so I'm just chilling. All right, and what I was saying is this picture. Amik Robertson forced into a role he wasn't necessarily projected to play at through injuries, and then he stepped up, and we just had guys keep stepping up. And some guys outkicked their coverage. You know, some guys played at a higher level than where they projected or what we even expected them to be. Some guys, Jamal Adams, fell on Ali McNeil's head. You know what I'm saying? You fucking dick. All right. This is written by, I do like to try and give authors credit where I can do. This is written by Emmett Matyasovsky. Love that 4th grade reading level. The Detroit Lions have several elements of their defense they hope to improve in 2025. As any team that comes up short of the gold championship, the Lions have several areas where they can make improvements to better their odds of hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Here you go. 2,500 yards in air completions, 2,100 yards after the catch. It's almost 5,000 yards we let up through the air. These two stats go hand in hand for the Lions. In 2024, they gave up the 3rd most yards in air completions and were only 2 yards away from being the 2nd worst team in the league in that stat. The Lions added DJ Reed, Avonte Maddox, and Rock Ya-Sin this season in free agency. Reed posted nearly identical numbers to crucial free agency loss Carlton Davis in 2024, with both posting 11 pass breakups and PFF coverage grades of 72 and 70, respectively. On the flip side, both Maddox and Rock Ya-Sin are marked as slight PFF coverage grade improvements over Kindle Vildor, another Lions free agency loss. The yak total was not egregious for the Lions, ranking 10th worst in the NFL. Reed and Davis both missed 8 tackles in 2024, and Vildor, Rock Ya-Sin, and Maddox were all credited with solo missed tackle too. The PFF grades are also a push. The Lions also bring in healthy Derek Barnes back. That also takes pressure off of Jack Campbell, who coverage grades improved year by year from 23 to 24 as well. With a healthy Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport and a potential high draft pick, quarterbacks will have less time to throw against the Lions in 2025. Potential for a high draft pick, I suppose. But what I wanted to focus on here is these two signings real quick. Avonte Maddox who is coming off a Super Bowl ring with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I will give Avonte Maddox credit. Think about Avonte Maddox when he entered the league, being a fourth-round pick in 2028. The 28-year-old has played collegiately at Pittsburgh after graduating from Martin Luther King High School in Detroit, so bringing him on home. He's battled several injuries over the years and played in all 17 regular season games in the Super Bowl champs in 2024. At 5'9", 190, Maddox played primarily as a slot or hybrid slot safety role for most of the last few seasons after seeing more action outside early in his career. Maddox recorded 20 tackles, 5 pass defenses over just 350 snaps in 24, and he had missed 21 games over the prior 2 seasons with injuries. And Avonte Maddox, if you recall, when he entered the league, was being torched at the slot position. He was the guy who, if you were a DFS, daily fantasy sports player, and you were seeking out whoever was playing the slot position against the Eagles because they were lining up against Avonte Maddox, and he was playing like absolute dog shit. And then he missed a few, games here or there with injury, and then was able to come back playing all 17 games with the Philadelphia Eagles in his route to a Super Bowl ring. Not old, not young, middle-aged depth piece that brings veteran leadership as well as a winning pedigree to the Detroit Lions, being able to correct a slumping career trajectory into a second contract with another organization. I like the Avonte Maddox signing. I think he adds a well-seasoned depth piece and is hinting that obviously we will not be going corner in the first round. Rock Ya-Sin, the Lions have agreed to terms with Rock Ya-Sin, the former second-round pick of the Colts, heads to Detroit after appearing in 13 games for the 49ers last season. Although Rock Ya-Sin is not a high-end corner and has been able to kind of more so carve out the duration of his career as a special teams ace, again, veteran presence. He's been around the league, spent time in San Francisco, a winning organization, and still can compete at a high level. This is the type of draft or the type of depth piece you like to have. You don't want to run into a situation where you're tagged with injuries on the back end in your secondary and you're having to roll out, undrafted rookie free agents, young guys. This is where signing guys, Rock Ya-Sin, Avonte Maddox, last year signing Amik Robertson was able to bail us out, right? Amik Robertson was able to come in and play at a high level because he is a seasoned vet that still has a lot left in the tank. I like these moves by Brad Holmes. Good depth pieces. I really like those moves. Back to the article here. 4.6 rushing yards per attempt, despite their success in stopping the run, ranking 5th fewest in yards allowed and 4th fewest in rushing first downs allowed. The Lions allowed 4.6 yards per attempt. That mark was 11th worst in the league, on the same tier as the Browns, Falcons, Bills, and Titans. And only one of those 4 teams that were listed made it to the playoffs. And that would be the Buffalo Bills, who were able to, although giving up a lot of yards per attempt, just like the Lions, you make your opponents almost one-dimensional when you go and you look at the scores, right? Look at this. Lost week 1 against the Bucks, right? But then 20, 42, 47, 31, 52, 24, 26, 52, 24, 23, 34, 48 by the Bills, just getting edged out, 34, 40, 31, 45, or 31. We're putting up a lot of points, which forced offenses to become one-dimensional, which was why our fewest rushing yards allowed, I think, is a little bit skewed. This number was hindered by Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, and Marcus Davenport, and Aiden Hutchinson all missing time in 24. With the front 7 healthy, shaving off 0.2 yards per carry would have pushed the Lions to the top 10 of the league in 24. The signing of Roy Lopez helps the front 7 situation as DJ Reader will have more rest, and Lopez is another player who can plug run gaps. Derek Barnes being back also helps. 331 first downs allowed. The Lions gave up 331 first downs last season, tying them with the New York Giants at the center of the league. While this is not a number the Lions need to improve drastically compared to other categories that rank is bottom 10, it is an outlier when compared to the success at stopping the run on first down. You get that down to about 300 yards, dude. That'd be. I know it doesn't sound like much, but that'd be a lot. Oh, hey, a new flavor of split milk is out. Vanilla milkshake, nice. The The Lions now have Calvin Shepard as the defensive coordinator this season. Following Aaron Glenn's departure to the New York Jets to become their head coach, Shepard was an internal promotion, and he knows Glenn's defensive scheme after working with the Lions for 3 seasons. NFL writer Tim Twentyman noted, Shepard has developed the linebacker room to his strength on defense over the past couple years, after it was a weakness early on in Campbell's tenure. If the Lions had allowed 1 less first down per game, their total would go from the middle of the league to top 5. Even an improvement of 5 less would have allowed them to place in the Lions in the top 10. 32 yards per drive allowed. On average, the Lions gave up 32 yards per drive in 24, ranking 18th in the league. This is another middle-of-the-pack stat, is an outlier compared to the other defensive stats. In part, the previously mentioned struggles, 1 completed pass sunk the Lions' numbers. All right, the Lions were aided, the average drive starting at the 29-yard line. We'll call it the 30. Mark that was top 10 in the league. Secondarily, the secondary adds 3 new players before the draft and the rest of free agency, along with a healthy front 7. The Lions' offense is just over a month old. Offseason is just over a month old. Man, I struggled through that article. Holy shit. Good Lord. Man, I am 5th grade reading level. Maybe one day I'll move to 6th grade. Probably not. But look, I like the moves. I like the Roy Lopez move. I don't like the Levi Onwuzurike move. I don't like the Marcus Davenport move. I don't like removing Zadarius Smith. But you know what? Who am I to question Brad Holmes? These are just things I don't like. The Avonte Maddox signing. I love the Avonte Maddox signing. Excuse me. I think it's a great depth piece. And I actually really like the Rakia Sin signing as well. These are good moves that Brad Holmes made, man. These are really, really good moves that Brad Holmes made. I just think he's being smart with his money. He's being smart with his money and making calculated decisions, right? So especially with the Rakia Sin and the Avonte Maddox signing, I teased this at the beginning of the episode. Obviously, we're not going corner in the first round, right? We're not going corner first round. It depends on who's there. We're either moving up or moving out, right? If our guy's not there, if we can't go after a James Pierce, go up and get James Pierce, right? We're sitting there at 28, and a guy that they really, really want just isn't there. Brad Holmes has got to move out. You got to trade out. You got to hit 30, trade out to the 34 spot. That's what I'd love to see. So, yeah. Well, do I got anything else I want to talk about? I don't think so. I think that's going to do it for today, boys. Yeah, that's probably going to do it for today, boys. I appreciate you guys hanging out and struggling with me here through the last little bit of the terrible reading. Shout out to I'm Chasing Chase, Jeanette Hall, and Mr. Detroit City. You guys are very active in the chat, and I really, really appreciate you guys, hanging out with me day by day. We're getting there. We're growing, and you guys are some real ones for us. I really, really appreciate that. To those of you watching post live stream, comment down below. Keep Mr. Great show, brother. Keep pushing. Thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. I really like doing the live stream versus. Hell yeah, of course I'm Chasing Chase. Appreciate the show or the shout out. Great show. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, run over, subscribe to I'm Chasing Chase. Puts out good content. Longtime friend. He's a good dude, man. He's just a good dude. So go over there and give him a subscribe, man. What I was saying is I like the live show better than doing videos. I feel like it's a little bit more of a authentic connection with you guys. I don't know. It's more fun this way. All right, that's going to be it for me. Guys, try and have a good rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't call for bail because it isn't payday yet. I've been Hattenbeard. You have been an attentive audience. Until next time, boys. Bonga bonga. Frig off.